So how did this pilot app go? I mean, did people buy it? Was it popular?
It was very unique. So everything, for some reason, also everything I do is like a paradigm shift. Like this is a new way of thinking about things. So it's always a hard sell.
Right.
And I got the people who got it loved it. And let me tell you, the best part of developing an app is before it launches, because you get to fantasize about all the money you'll make, the people you'll meet, the shows you'll be on, the fame, the glory, right? All this stuff.
You made it. We're here.
Exactly. And then, when you launch it, that's in the reality, you've poured your heart and soul into this, and people like trash it because they don't understand it.
Right.
Because it is a unique thing. And, you could cross all the T's and dot all the I's and do as much as you can never do enough to satisfy everybody.
Right.
And so, my life was between improving it because you get the immediate response.
Right.
You get, and you got to fix bugs, and people catch things and typos. And making improvements. And I spent a lot of time. That's kind of like the next phase of software developing that. Once it's out there, then you really polish it off and improve it. And you can't really do that work till it's out there. Like you just never have that vision because the customer has lots of input, and you don't know. You know what the app should do and what it should do, but they're not thinking in terms of how you're thinking.
Right.
So you got to take their input. And I took probably another 2 years and polished it off. And at the same time, marketing it, went to the different shows and did advertising. And I got a good base, but ultimately, I'm no dummy, man. I discovered there's a lot more drivers than there are pilots.
Ah.
Because the pilot market is very small.
Right.
And so the concept of this app was to show the weather. It would calculate the weather as you would get to each point of a trip, right? So
For the pilot.
for the pilots. So I thought, well, there's so many more drivers, truck drivers, people on van vacations, RVers, motorcycle guys,
Right.
touring bikes. So I took that app. I made 2 other apps: Drive Weather and then Atmosphere Weather, which is like a general purpose weather app. Because everybody liked my visuals. It was interesting. So you think, and this is where if you think you have a great idea, but that's meaningless. So I had this good idea. I implemented it in this app, and safety is a huge factor in flying, aviation,
I hope so.
general aviation, right? So I have this app that's all about safety. I hired a PR guy. He set me up with interviews with the top 5 general aviation magazines,
Wow.
publications. They did interviews. I did demos. Not one got published.
Why?
I don't know. It's like based on their schedules, they didn't see it as valuable. But this is, again, safety is primary. Like anything with safety, you would think I thought this was my big break. I thought now like the masses would get it. Didn't get published. So I was like, well, screw them, right? I'm not going to waste my time chasing things that don't work. And then I had this idea, I had this revelation, this ingenious revelation. Right? And this is where you got to follow like instinct, right? That there's a lot more drivers, bigger population. But I had figured out all the math and the stuff in the first app, right? So then I kind of just stopped developing on the pilot one and made Drive Weather. Made it much better. It was like a new version, made it simpler, took away all the aviation jargon, but the concept was the same.
Right. That's really interesting. So your near-death experience led you to build the pilot app, which then led you to build Drive Weather, which has taken off.
Yes.
And people love.
Pun intended, right? When I released it, it started just selling itself. Like people would they would find it, download it, and it just had its own energy. Whereas the aviation one and Atmosphere Weather, which are both very innovative, as there's still nobody is doing what I was doing with the pilot one. Wow. It was a grind to sell, right?
Yeah.
And who needs it? And the Atmosphere one is a general purpose weather app, really cool visuals, really just at a glance weather, but there's thousands of weather apps out there, and it's a hard sell, right? There's no need in the market for another one.
Right.